going to teach you how to do the work.
Being recorded.
The first, I'm going to show you, present to you the practice, the first part of this ritual of the metamorphic technique. And along the ways, I'm going to talk about a few of the principles and what it's about. So I'll start off by talking a bit about, well, why do people come for a metamorphic technique session? What's going on? These people want to, they're willing to put their foot up and receive a session. The first consideration, and in fact the only consideration in terms of when a person comes to receive a session, is, are they alive? Are they breathing? Because wherever there is life, there is a potential for transformation. So it sounds obvious, but it actually, it's more obvious than I can even begin to express it. That these patterns are continuously transforming. Those of us who have spent any time meditating can observe the changing. Everything is in a flux. So people come to receive a session very often because they're investing a lot of their energy to resist the natural process of transformation. We see it all around. Can everyone see that picture clearly? It's a typical English countryside scene. I've just come from there. I've just come from England. We're spring in England. Everything is greening up after the winter. And the oak trees, just before I came 2 days ago, the oak trees, the leaves burst out on the oak trees. The most beautiful green, fresh and vibrant. Taking all the nutrients that it requires from the earth, everything in perfect alignment for it to display its potential as an oak tree. And of course, it will produce thousands of acorn seeds. This is an acorn seed. And each one of those acorn seeds has the potential to transform into an oak tree, which has the potential to generate more and more acorn seeds. Here is a demonstration of life and intelligence creating something that we can appreciate in this dimension of time, space, and matter. This dimension of cause, effect, effect, cause. So I can see that most, probably all of you are attending this talk alone, which is absolutely perfect. It is as it is, which means that I'm going to teach you the practice of metamorphic on the feet, on yourself. So nothing is required for this. You don't need to know any anatomy or physiology. You don't need to be hyper flexible. You can use a pen to access your foot. So if people can't sit comfortably cross-legged, then a pen is fine. So I'm going to start moving now towards the practice because I really want you to experience the practice on yourself. So I think I've referred to before that the metamorphic technique is a ritual. And the purpose of the ritual is to occupy the mind. We have these wonderful minds, these extraordinary minds that serve us within this dimension of time, space, and matter. The sharper our minds, the sharper the tool of our minds, the more we're able to appreciate this wonderful world and all the abundance that we can see around us every day, in every moment. So, okay, so usually we work on bare feet, but sometimes people would rather keep their socks on, and that's perfectly fine. Some teenagers don't want to take their trainers off, their sneakers off, so we can do it over the sneakers. It's a ritual. We will start to move into the ritual. We will occupy our minds. So we always begin the practice on the feet by bringing the mind right into doing something from the beginning. Let's occupy our minds. Let's really satiate them. So let's explore the foot in all of its characteristics. It has 3 characteristics. There's fluids. There are fluids in the foot. There are soft tissues in the foot, and there are hard tissues, the bones of the foot. So we just have a look at our foot. From a distance it is okay, and we start on the right foot. We want to start to connect with patterns that are currently active. Those active patterns that we're probably quite cognizant of, we're probably quite aware of. Nothing too surprising, something that is bubbling there, presenting itself every day. Okay. I'm just. Do you want to come and sit? Excuse me. I just want to.
It's okay. I'm going to kind of check the technical things.
Sorry, I was just inviting Nicole to join me on the sofa, but she's onto the technology, and that's. Thank you, Nicole. So you have a look at your foot. You feel it first. Give your foot a bit of a hand hug. A hand hug. It's interesting, this work on ourselves, because when one is working on someone else's foot, there may be a little less judgment. You know how we're all so much easier on others than we are on ourselves. So look at your foot and hold it and just be with it in this moment. You feel the sensation of holding your foot, the pressure of your hands on your feet, and give it a bit of a squeeze. And then you can have a look at your foot and just, does it feel damp? Is it dry? Let's start to attend to the fluids. My foot is, I would say, slightly, there is dampness. There is dampness. Now, what am I doing? I'm going to now explain the principles behind what I'm doing in this moment with the mind. Because at this point is critical now. As soon as I make contact with the foot, I need to start my practice. This is where the practice of metamorphic technique begins, with the client coming in for the session, the willingness being displayed to put their foot up for a session, a commitment to stop putting obstacles up in the way of their own transformation. Us humans can do that. We have the capability to put obstacles up in the way of our own transformation. We very often invest a lot of energy into maintaining the patterns, to holding on to them for a long time, resisting that natural movement of transformation, which is our birthright. Transformation is our birthright. Our birthright is to express ourselves in each moment according to what feels right for us. Transformation is part of that. Now, I'm going to come back to the oak tree and just say, here's the acorn. The pattern of the acorn seed is as it is. It's an expression of life and intelligence, creation. And the time comes when that pattern, the purpose of that pattern, has been fulfilled. It's served its purpose. That blessing has come and other blessings await. Inevitably, because as we all know, the universe is abundant. So the acorn, it's time to transform. And what does the acorn need? It's alive. It needs to find an environment. This is the prerequisite for transformation to occur. Life and environment. And the environment that the acorn seed comes to, is present in, that environment is not waving a magic wand and saying, acorn seed, transform into an oak tree. No, it's the earth simply is, the life and intelligence of the acorn seed is what will create that movement of transformation. And that movement of transformation, all the energy for that movement of transformation to occur, is within the pattern of the acorn seed. The movement of transformation, the energy for that, and the direction of transformation will be determined by the current pattern, the present pattern. Because this pattern has come in as a blessing. This is a beautiful blessing to the world, this acorn seed. It becomes a wonderful blessing to the earth itself when it falls in. And the earth, acting as a catalyst, loosens the structure, loosens the pattern of the acorn seed so that the potential, the oak tree, can emerge. It's miraculous. 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 Oh, life from the standpoint of our minds is miraculous, isn't it? Miraculous. You know, the shining stars that we are, there is so much, the potential is infinite. The potential is infinite. How can I begin to comprehend your potential to transform and what that transformation can be? Anything that I can imagine that I can do for you is bound to be limited by my consciousness. What you can do for yourself is infinite. I'm hopeless at predicting the future. It's true. It's true. My consciousness is going to limit the vision of the outcome. It's bound to, isn't it? So the point I'm trying to make is, like the earth, let's stay out the way. Let's allow our clients to take what they require from the environment, free from direction, that we are practicing to hold an environment, a space free from direction, so that your transformation, your direction, your movement of transformation, your stepping into your potential can happen without any interference. So as I'm exploring the characteristics of the foot, we will notice the mind coming into play. We will notice the mind. The mind may give some judgments. Look at that nail, that nail is a bit rough, isn't it? But, you know, it's almost coming off. There is a nail almost coming off of my big toe. Notice the fact. There is a consciousness in that notice. I notice what I'm conscious of. Awareness. The movement of awareness. To notice something is a verb, isn't it? It's an action. It's something we can do. It's something the mind can achieve. Animals and plants can achieve it as well. They notice, they act. They notice, they act. They notice, they act. They notice, and some hormonal change may stimulate some kind of action within the animals and the plants. Humans, however, can do something else. We can notice, and then we can acknowledge what we've noticed. We're aware of being aware. Wow. We're aware of being aware. And that allows us to let whatever we have noticed, let it be. Extraordinary ability that we have to notice a fact, and this will depend on one's consciousness, one's awareness, that movement of consciousness and awareness, and then we can acknowledge it, and then we can let it be. This is the practice of metamorphic technique. It's an attitude of detachment. It's an expression of love, because we're letting it be. Free from constructs, free from judgment, just letting it be. So we look at the foot, and I noticed, I've already noticed that the fluids, my foot is a bit damp, fine. Then I move on to the soft tissues of the foot, skin. Any hard skin, anyone? Any hard skin on your foot? And where is it, please? You can point to it if you wish to. You can point to it. Oh, the base, the heel. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that information. So I'm noticing that there is hard skin on your heel, and it's very interesting. I've got hard skin on the side of my big toe, and as we learn through the workshop at the weekend, we will learn to read the foot like an open book. It's extraordinary. All I can say is that you will discover that the heel corresponds to birth in what we call the prenatal pattern, from conception to birth. Extraordinary. So birth is the mother principle. It's mother's moment. In fairness, the father doesn't have much of a moment. The father's moment is at conception. But obviously, very important. I'm a father myself, and I just want to acknowledge my importance to the process. But it's quite fleeting, isn't it? So whereas the gestation period and then the birth at the heel here, mother's moment, we will learn how a baby is born determines in the life how it will act when it's important to act. It's extraordinary what the foot reflects the whole body, and the evolution of the physical embryo and fetus, and the simultaneous evolution of consciousness in the womb from conception to birth. So birth, mother's moment. Hard skin, we can find out, is mental aspect. Soft tissues, mental aspect. We will learn this. I'm not going to go into details now. I want you to start practicing. So are you looking at your foot? You've felt the fluids. You've felt the hard skin. Mental resistance to mother principle, which can be grounding. Maybe mental resistance to grounding. It's just, I have a mental resistance around conception. Father is most active. Mental resistance to father, male authority. Mental resistance. So we'll learn this. We'll learn how to read the foot like an open book. So having explored the foot, the skin, are the toes splayed, soft tissues? Is the ankle tight or loose? Is it tight or loose? Just gently side to side. Be careful. No, I don't want you injuring yourself. Just very gentle, side to side. You'll see if it feels stiff. Just notice the fact. Acknowledge there is stiffness, there is looseness. So we've explored the arch. Soft tissue held up by the soft tissues. Is the arch high or low? So we're beginning to connect. We're beginning to use our minds in the ritual of metamorphic technique. We haven't even started metamorphic technique yet. This is the ritual, the opening of this practice. I've forgotten something very important. I've jumped ahead of myself in the ritual. I checked that the client was alive, and then I didn't tell you. I need to ask them, would you like to receive a session of metamorphic technique? They might have come to the wrong place and might be expecting something else. I don't know. Anyway, so I ask them, I check in just to confirm that willingness to stop putting obstacles out in the way of our own natural transformation. So I've explored the foot and the bones, soft. So the three characteristics: fluids, soft tissues, and bones. Emotional, mental, energetic aspect of the body reflected in the foot. I've explored it. Now I'm going to teach you the practice of metamorphic technique. I've got my pebble, which I forgot to bring. It's in my kind of like my sling thing. I mean, just it's under my hat shawl on the chair. Sorry, I'm going to show you what I use when I practice on myself. Yeah, I use a wooden pebble, a lovely rosewood pebble, which feels really nice on the feet. You can use a pen, a pencil. You could use a crystal, a pebble from the beach. Thank you, Sean. Excuse me, I'm just going to get my pebble. If you're able to get something to practice with, then now is a good moment. So, is it sort of, yeah, is it all right?
It's wonderful.
So, in terms of, I'm talking a lot, right? So, like, I want to get the practice happening as soon as possible. So, I just want to get them geared up to practice on themselves.
It's great.
And then let's get the practice going. And then I'm going to sort of talk a bit about the practice of detachment. And then so that they've got their hands on, and now the practice is actually within the context of the ritual. The practice of detachment, I think, can then be anchored in the ritual of the metamorphic technique.
Wonderful.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
It's rosewood.
It's so well polished.
Yeah. I'm going to show my beautiful. It's quite lovely, isn't it? It's French rosewood. It's just beautifully smooth and lovely grains. Just a beautiful thing. So for me, it just feels so lovely on the skin. Very and I'm able to work very lightly. So I just, you know, when the acorn transforms, when it falls into the earth, and we discuss the earth doesn't do anything for the acorn. See, the earth simply is. Anything that falls into the earth is broken down. But if it's alive, there's a potential for transformation. But there needs to be contact between the seed and the earth in order for transformation to occur. Because we are living in time, space, and matter. So there needs to be contact with my pebble with the inside, with the inside of each foot corresponds to the spine. This area here in the middle corresponds to the spine. Our central nervous system, our axes, and we use the spinal reflex, because this is based on the principles of reflexology. We use the spinal reflex, this bony ridge, on the inside of the first metatarsal bone. You don't need to know what a metatarsal bone is, there's a bone on the side of the foot. That's the inside of the first metatarsal. You can see it there. And there's a triangular area under the ankle bone. This is our prenatal pattern. Prenatal, the development of the physical and the consciousness during the 9 months of gestation, conception to birth. We even dive into preconception, out of time, space, and matter. We dive into all the dimensions of our being through this connection with the spinal reflex of our foot. We use the spinal reflex as a support in matter for this time structure, conception to birth. And then we, through the contact, we just practice detachment. How do we do that? We notice the fact there is contact. We notice the fact. We acknowledge it. There is contact. And then we let it be. We let it be. We let it be. There's no agenda. There's no expectation. With metamorphic technique, it's an approach of transformation. So you can just move your object along your spine, spinal reflex, remembering the triangular area underneath the ankle bone, the triangular area, and going up and down systematically, up and down, under the triangular area, up and down. Very soft touch. It's a very soft touch. People compare it to butterfly wings, angel wings. Very gentle, very gentle. No, this is not a manipulation. We're not interested in manipulating people. We don't want to limit the outcome by projecting a construct from the standpoint of my own limited consciousness. What they can do for themselves is unlimited, infinite. I can just provide the environment, provide the space, like the earth, free from direction. People are attracted to this. People they are attracted to this frequency, this space free from direction. They'll start asking questions about metamorphic technique. They've heard about it somewhere. Time is right to come and receive. They've had it with repeating the same patterns over and over again. The same types of relationships, the same issues around their work, the same health issues. We'll see why we're so obsessed with transformation is because change isn't enough. The acorn seed will change as an acorn seed. But as long as it doesn't have the opportunity to come into the environment where it can transform, that pattern will deteriorate. It will become more established. And the vitality, the energy is bound to be compromised. As people transform the energy levels that they experience, the falling away, the unfolding easily unfolding. It's often friends and family who see the difference. We don't even realize it's who we are. We just naturally unfold. It's a wonderful practice to share. So we just keep on moving up and down, up and down, up and down. Sometimes we work over the top of the ankle, from underneath the ankle bone on one side to underneath the ankle bone on the opposite side. But on the whole, we kind of go up and down the spinal reflex. These patterns that we express, these patterns that we bring into our lives, these limitations that we feel, these physical and emotional frustrations, sort of almost like a stuckness, just unfolding, just loosening. Anything that falls into the earth becomes loosened. Likewise, anyone who comes and receives and gives a metamorphic technique session, there is a loosening, there is a opportunity for these patterns to transform. And we use the mind within this ritual, within this space, free from direction. We occupy our mind and we connect with our other dimensions out of time, space, and matter, where the transformation occurs. Healing, curing happens as a byproduct of transformation. It's not the purpose of this method, of this technique. The purpose of this technique is something permanent. The caterpillar, the pattern of the caterpillar ages as a caterpillar, changes occur, maybe some wrinkles on the skin, maybe some discolorations, maybe some arthritic legs. Some of the legs get a bit stiff and creaky. When the pattern of the caterpillar has fulfilled its purpose, transformation occurs, and then it exists in an altogether other dimension of being as a butterfly. We notice that the movement of transformation is always into something with a subtler, a finer frequency. The butterfly is living in an altogether different reality. The arthritic legs, the healing, the curing has occurred as a byproduct of transformation. And that healing, that curing, like we were talking earlier, or I was talking, I do apologize for talking so much. I am talking a lot. I do want to make some time for you to maybe ask some questions. And but in the meantime, I would love it if you could just continue that practice on the right foot. Just moving your object up and down pretty systematically, whilst most importantly practicing this attitude of mind, the attitude of detachment, noticing the fact, acknowledging it, and let it be. We have all heard of Albert Einstein, haven't we? We all know who Albert Einstein was. an extraordinary being, and he said that there were two words that are very powerful words in the language. And he said it in French. He said the word is il y a. There is. That those two words give us an opportunity to acknowledge what we have noticed. We are aware that we are aware. It can take us into lots of tricky situations in terms of expressing and moving into our potential. Aware of being aware can facilitate emotions such as doubt, there is tiredness, there is frustration. I'm not identifying with these. I'm not identifying with emotion. I'm just simply noticing the fact, acknowledging, and letting it be. There is, as soon as I am tired, I am frustrated, one is identifying with that frequency of frustration and tiredness. Through this practice of noticing the fact, acknowledging there is, one is moving through the process of transformation. One is moving back into the house of our being. This practice is a practice of coming home to the house of our being. And the house of our being is our birthright. We are all human beings, all of us, with the gift of being aware of being aware, and the gift of these wonderful minds that we have to help us to negotiate this time, space, and matter dimension.
There was a request from Amy to demonstrate the spine of the foot.
Okay.
So that could be clarified.
Okay.
Would you like my foot as a demonstration model?
Is that going to be comfortable for you?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to do this on the
I'm going to demonstrate with Nicole's foot, and so the spinal reflex goes really from the first articulation of the big toe, this point here. This point here in the prenatal pattern corresponds with conception, that first articulation. And then there's a bony ridge. There's a bone on top of the foot. And we just come to the side of this bone, this bony ridge, just coming to the side. We will learn this practice on the weekend, how to practice on someone, how to share that space free from direction. And then also underneath the ankle bone, this triangular area here, this point here, this corresponds to birth within the prenatal pattern. So we are connecting with every moment in the womb as it is reflected in the spine that we access within this ritual of metamorphic technique. We access on the spinal reflex of the feet, the hands, and the head. We work on the feet, the hands, and the head. And it's such a relaxing ritual. Does that explain where the spinal reflex is? Is everyone now clear?
Yes,
And what I'm doing with my pebble on my own foot is I'm just making, sorry, let me do it so that you can see. I'm just making very small circular movements. And would you like to describe the touch?
it's very light touch, feather light, and a kind of a feeling that there's no set pattern in the movement. It's just touching everywhere whenever the movement of the piece of pebble moves, and it goes everywhere.
But there is a systematic approach, though, because the mind is so tricky. The mind is so tricky. The mind will want to feel like it's doing something. The mind will want to feel like it's enacting some extraordinary movement. That the mind will make claims. We have to be very careful of the mind, because if I'm going in spending time in one place, maybe the mind is thinking, oh, I need to be here for a while. There's something, feeling something here. Wonder what that could be. And starts telling a story about it. But we notice the fact there is mind, and acknowledge it. There is mind, and let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Coming home to the house of our being. Home in the house of our being. The practice is coming home into the house of our being, noticing all sorts of facts. Just thank you. Thanks, Nicole. Just like the earth, some earth is more nourishing. Some earth has more good, usually good shit in it. Excuse my language. It's full of manure and good stuff. That's what I meant to say. And so how can we, how do we improve the quality, the grounds that we're holding for our clients, so that they can take what they need from us in that moment, and we're continuously replenished like the earth. It's a wonderful practice for the practitioner, sharing that space free from direction. One is so energized as a practitioner. One is so energized within that experience. It's just extraordinary. In London, I used to give exhibitions of metamorphic technique, 20-minute sessions, one after the other. At the end of the day, would have to go for a run or something. It was just so full of energy. Energy was coursing, bouncing off the walls. Me and my friend Gaston. Gaston St. Pierre, who developed the practice of the metamorphic technique. I am indebted to his kindness in showing me this extraordinary work. And there are many stories about how it has, how my journey with metamorphic technique has unfolded over the last 24 years. Yeah. Extraordinary work, extraordinary work. So you know what the spinal reflex is. You're getting an idea of what this practice involves. A technique is an approach which perfects itself in the practice. be exploring the universal principles that govern everything that we are. The universal principles. We'll especially be looking at the wonderful principle of correspondence. The principle of correspondence which underlies the practice of modalities such as acupuncture, reflexology, those wonderful practices that use organs of the body as mirrors of the whole body and everything that is going on in it. And the feet, the hands, and the head are the three organs of communication that we will be focusing on. The moving center through the extremity of the feet, the doing center through the extremity of the hands, and the thinking center. These are the centers that we will be exploring and we will be connecting with, and we will be I can't predict what will happen over the weekend. I'm not in the business of projecting any constructs on anyone. You're not entering a program to achieve a certain goal. Your participating as you are participating this evening, is an indication of your willingness to stop putting the obstacles up in the way of your transformation. And I'm a practitioner of acupuncture, and I'm a practitioner of reflexology, and I always keep the metamorphic technique separate as the ritual that it is, but the work has had a profound effect on my practices as an acupuncturist and a reflexologist, a profound effect. So I don't know how long I've been talking. I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry for talking so much, and I want to say I really appreciate your presence this evening and your patience sitting there while I get really enthusiastic and talk about this wonderful practice.
We could open up for questions.
Oh, fantastic. I would love to answer any, or, attempt to answer any questions that you might have. I would love to just be in the presence of your questions, please.
So I put I'm learning how to use this format. So it means I've automatically muted everybody, but I can't find exactly where to unmute you. So what I would suggest is, for now, making the indicator that you'd like to have a question asked, and you can put your hand up and then we will unmute you for now. Oh, you can write in the comments or you can raise your hands. Wonderful. Yes, that would be great. Let's do that.
Thank you so much for your cooperation.
So I'm unmuting. I'm just doing that now, unmuting you. Request to unmute. That's a very raised hand. I haven't quite worked out yet how to unmute it. It looks like it's still muted though.
Can you just click on that? Request to unmute.
Yes, I see.
Okay, so we've requested. So maybe there's something that the participant needs to do at their end.
No, I think it's from our end.
Okay.
So I'm just going to have a look in the layouts here. Oh, you're pressing unmute. I see that. I accidentally locked it, so I'm going to do that now. See if I can find where it does that.
Are all of you living in South Africa? Yes?
Yes.
South Africa?
Except for Victor's. Victor's is
Jody.
in Denmark.
Ah, Victor's.
Yes.
Welcome from Denmark.
And you can type your questions in. Yes, please, if you wouldn't mind for now, until I figure out this little feature. Okay. I'm going to open up the chat here. Yeah.
Amy.
Just typing it in now.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, you can feel free, everybody,
Very
to drop
very,
any messages in there.
I noticed that the spinal column on my left. Oh wow, that's a really wonderful question. Amy's question was that I noticed that the spinal column on my left and right feet are quite different. Is that an indication of something? It's very it's an indication that you have noticed that there is tightness, that or that there is something apparent on the left foot that isn't on the right foot, or vice versa. So you have begun your practice of metamorphic technique. You are noticing, you're using your mind, this wonderful mind, to notice, and then you've acknowledged and that they are different. And now you're asking the question, does that indicate something? So you have an inquiry from your mind, which is wonderful, because it means that this ritual that we're beginning to move into is actually really interesting the mind. The mind is on board with this. So, and your observation is very perceptive, because the right foot, we always start on the right foot. And we start on the right foot because it corresponds to patterns which are currently active patterns. So we may as well get started on those active patterns. We may as well make contact with those active patterns in the foot. We don't need to name or label those active patterns, not necessary to name or label, but we're aware that there's something. And then on the left foot, Amy, on the left foot, it corresponds to patterns which are currently dormant, rather like sleeping volcanoes. They can erupt at any time, those currently dormant patterns, but they're there. They're maybe a little bit deeper. Maybe we're not quite so comfortable encountering them. Maybe there's a little bit of resistance there. Maybe there's a pattern of keeping those in a certain place. Every pattern fulfills a purpose. We're not here to judge a pattern. Every pattern fulfills a purpose. Once that purpose has fulfilled, the energy in that pattern will determine the direction of transformation. So the pattern is to be embraced and is a blessing. It's a blessing, but the time has come for that pattern to loosen, untie, nothing added, nothing taken away, like a knot, rather like the Greek kataluein, the root of the word catalyst, kataluein, the untying of the knot. There is the energy, the direction of transformation. So very perceptive. Thank you, Amy. Did that answer your question, or did I go off topic? I thought I was kind of trying to. Thank you.
And we have now if the mute button is possible for you to turn off on your own. If you'd like to speak in person, you're welcome to. Or you can write in if you prefer this.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You too, Peter.
Just wanted to
Thank
get
you
better.
for attending.
No. I just had an interesting observation, which I didn't realize that we were supposed to be staying on the right. So I swapped over to the left at one point because I kind of got a bit frustrated with the right. And
That's frustration.
I was like,
wonderful.
oh no, this is irritating me now. I'm gonna change feet. And then later on you said, oh, we would still be doing the right foot. And I kind of really I preferred the left foot. So I thought that was quite interesting that when you told us what the
You prefer the left foot?
Yeah, preferred the left foot. Just interesting observation.
There is preference. Yeah, very nice. Notice that fact. Acknowledge. Let it be. Glorious. I'm really happy that you shared that, because I must say that I kind of left you a bit, didn't I, in the air there with that practice of the feet. I assure you that you're going to have, if it feels right for you to attend the workshop at the weekend, you will have plenty of opportunity to practice on the feet, and you would be doing, within the ritual of metamorphic technique, you will be working on the right foot and the left foot for a certain amount of time. This is the ritual. The mind is very happy with this. I'm going to have 20 minutes on the right foot, 20 minutes on the left foot. I can do that. The mind can deal with that. It's time, space, and matter, isn't it? We're encountering matter in space for a certain length of time. The mind is in its element with the practice. Does that answer the question at all?
I mean, it wasn't really a question. It was more just an observation. That there is a difference, and I didn't expect that there would be such a difference that I would notice.
Very
kind of emotional connection to my right foot and my left foot and what it brought up. That was just it. Yeah.
Can I say also that your mind will be even more satiated, because we're going to dive into all sorts of we're really going to look after our minds in this process. We're going to be very kind and caring and loving to our minds, providing them with this wonderful ritual. Something that everyone says at the end of a session, if they say anything. It's not required. I'm not. Usually they say something. They don't. I have had clients who have got up and gone, but usually they will at least say goodbye or something. But anyway, what they do always say is, "Wow, I feel so relaxed." That is so. No expectations, no, just this environment free from direction. It's a lovely place to spend time in this practice of detachment, of loving to the extent of letting be. That's what we're practicing. So, any other questions, please? Yes, Jodie, please.
Hello, Keith.
Is it Jodie or Jade?
Jody Jade.
Jody Jade. Jody Jade. Thank you.
Hi, Keith. Nice to meet you, and thank you for all the information and the talk.
Yeah. Thank you. It's such a privilege to be able to share this practice with you.
Thank you very much. My question is just really more of a personal one. So I experienced after birth a spinal injury, a herniated disc in the spine. And I was just wondering if, when you're doing this practice, if you are able to observe spinal injuries within the foot, and if this practice, if you can focus on those positions in the foot to promote transformation or healing.
That's such a wonderful question, because it incorporates so much within the practice. So the spinal injury, did that occur during the birthing process, or did that occur just before the birth, or?
So that was after that was about no, it was actually about a year after the birth.
Okay.
It was a twin birth.
Oh. Who was first, you or your twin? Who was first out of who got out of the womb the first? Who was the first? You or your twin? You said it was a twin birth. Did you?
I mean, I had twins.
You had twins. Oh. Sorry, I understood. How amazing! And of course, one of them was out first.
I was confused by that question.
Sorry, one of them was out first.
Yeah, there was a boy and a girl, and the boy was out first.
Oh, so the girl kind of follows the boy.
The girl pushed the boy out.
And how does that play out in their lives now? Their relationship.
Yes, totally.
The boy is who takes the lead.
He's
Sorry?
more of the. He's more of the boy is more of the scared one, more yeah, in some ways more timid, and she kind of, I think, pushed him out of the womb. She gave him like
How wonderful! What a wonderful! This is metamorphic technique in practice. This is so. I'm so pleased that you shared that, because we notice all of these patterns as we look at the foot. We look at the birth, that first action of the birth, and see how that affects how we act when it's important to act. Jody Jade. Yeah, so it's so wonderful that you can be there at the birth and then see how that, well, obviously you were there, you were giving birth, but how how that pattern of the birth plays out in the life. Just extraordinary. And with twins, I think it's, what an amazing, that must be incredible. So, but you did say though, Jody Jane, didn't you, that you had a spinal injury after birth?
Yes.
About, what was it, about a year after the birth? Did you say? Or
yeah, I think it was a year. Yes.
Yeah. Extraordinary. Yeah. So so this is something, just like the legs of the caterpillar, the arthritis in the legs of the caterpillar, when the transformation occurs, there's a different manifestation within the body. I hesitate to say about any healing or balancing, because that implies a direction, and we don't give a direction. That's going to limit an outcome. we're interested in transformation, and the healing and the curing happens as a byproduct of that transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So, but certainly we would look where that is in the spine, and what part of the prenatal pattern that corresponds to in terms of the evolution of the physical and the consciousness. We know that where there is physical matter, there is energy, and where there is energy, there is consciousness. So physical matter is conscious. There's an evolution of consciousness and the physical. The first 4.5 months, how we treat ourselves, the baby is the embryo and the fetus are very much turned within. How we treat ourselves at 4.5 weeks, quickening, opening to the world, how we open to the world. The second 4.5 months, how we are as social beings, the awareness of I and other. It's so interesting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you for sharing, Jodie Jade. It was it's so lovely to hear your questions. Thank you. And if anyone else has a question, you're.
I can see we have 10 minutes left in
Okay.
the meeting, so we could take maybe one more question, and then we could give a little bit of a wrap up and a clarity about the next dates after that. Yeah.
Did everyone hear that? So we think we've got time maybe for one more question, and then we're going to just do some other announcements. I think that's right. So
We could jump into the announcements now, and I guess we'll jump on in.
be careful not to jump too
Heavy on the foot.
too high.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lovely moon boot on, so my soft tissues, my mental body on my right foot is under transformation at the moment. It's going through big changes.
Yeah, the mental aspects of the body. Movement, mental resistance to movement. A wonderful, a blessing in many ways.
Yeah, transformation and recontextualization. So I'm just going to jump on here and just say thank you, everybody, for making time this evening to sit together and to listen. And yeah, we're very grateful for everyone who felt like this was a calling for transformation within themselves. Yeah, and we're excited, very excited to be hosting you, Keith, and we're going to be running the in-person aspect of the retreat here in our beautiful spirit house in Cape Town, down in the deep south. And we're actually working out our technical production side a little bit tonight. You can see from the way we're navigating the technology that it's under refinement as well. So we're going to have an online facet to the course that's going to be focusing on bringing us all together in the same space. So we've got the beautiful couches in our room here, all gathered around this center point with the camera pointing towards us, and we've got a really super duper camera lined up to capture all the details on a wide screen of the couch and the sessions for you sitting behind your computers back at home comfortably. So we hope that you will join us and we can go deep into the practice and start to look at what arises when we're practicing together for 2 days. Lots of change, lots of things to observe.
Yeah, the overnight aspect of the workshop is very important, that we have a night in between the 2 days. And it's very interesting to tap into people's experiences that they've had overnight between the 2 days of the workshop.
Yeah, I remember experiencing it with you back in 2016, and it helped me immensely with my own transformations into building a life that I live now. And it's always been a backbone in the ongoing process to just sit and relax deeply. So I always feel like it's medicine. It's the medicine that is it's our natural medicine. No need to have any sacrament, but this is potent, transformative experience. So I'm very grateful for checking in again at the transition times. Great crossroads now. So thank you. Yeah, so please feel free to check in with any questions over the coming week. If you need any clarity, we're here to answer questions. If there's personal reasons why you feel called to come and you want to check in about these, we're here to check in with and see how this particular medicine work is coming together for you as well.
Yeah. Thank you once again for your time and your willingness to present yourselves this evening. And I wish you a good night. And I just want to reiterate what Nicole said, that if you think of a question after the close of this meeting, please don't hesitate to convey it somehow, and we will do our best to answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Lord. Yes, sweet dreams.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Victus. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Vitas. Thank you.
We just share the silence.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to turn the recording off and say good night to you all. Blessings and good night.
Blessings, good night.
Blessings.